up guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Jake. Welcome to the JD Cars Automotive YouTube channel. Today on JD Cars, we're going to be tossing an electric cutout valve in this 2012 A4. It's the 2.0 turbo, so it's going to sound pretty fun. We're going to make it nice and loud today using a QuickTime Performance welded-in cutout valve. So let's see what we get in the box. Alright, so Jack here has been waiting to pop this sucker open for, I don't know, weeks on end now. Jack, let me get you a knife and you can have the honors.
Alright, let's do it.
Oh yeah. Just frickin' chop the cutout right in half with your Bowie knife there, eh?
Oh yeah. Got some wrapping paper here.
Oh,
reminds me of Christmas. Ooh. Alright, got some individual boxes.
QuickTime Performance with the neat packaging as always.
Yeah, it's impressive. Wow.
Yeah.
Got one more part right there.
And then I think that's your wireless control box.
Oh yeah, that's
So we have, just looking at the ends here, 2.5-inch cutout pipe, and we're doing the DIY cutout pipe, which means we're going to be welding it right in line with the exhaust. We have a 3-inch electric cutout, which I believe the 3-inch and the 2.5 are the same. So that's going to bolt up to our DIY cutout pipe. And then we have a turn down to redirect the exhaust flow, and lastly, a wireless controller. So we'll break all these open and take a look at them. So in the DIY cutout pipe box, we've got essentially a pre-cut piece of pipe that's going to fit right in line with our factory exhaust, and we'll be welding this flange to the end where our valve bolts up, and you also get this plate if you ever want to cap it off. Now, the moment of truth. Let's see if we got the right valve. Oh mama. Here's our manual toggle switch that comes with it, but here's the valve itself. Woo-wee. Look at that thing. Got some QTP stickers, slapped those bad boys on for some extra horsepower. Here is our adjustable turn down. We can direct this in any angle that we want to redirect our exhaust flow away from the car so we don't melt it. And last but certainly not least, we have our wireless controller, which I've installed before, and it's really simple to wire. Really nice little setup. So we've got the control box itself, and it's pre-wired. You can actually wire in 2 exhaust valves to 1 controller if you want to, if you're running a dual exhaust setup. We have an antenna wire and then just 2 power leads. Super simple. Hook up a ground, hook up a positive wire. We already have an inline fuse installed, so this is all ready to go. And then we also receive 2 QTP wireless remotes here, open and close. But let's get to work here. We're gonna put the car up on the lift, pull out our mid pipe. We've already pounded out and replaced those old rusty exhaust manifold studs with bolts, so we can just pull those out today. Should make things a lot easier, but let's put her up on the lift. Alright, so before you remove any exhaust components from the car, now you might want to even do this before you start loosening any hardware. We kind of just got a little bit ahead of ourselves. You want to test fit your valve and your DIY cutout pipe right here. Find a location on the exhaust pipe that's fitting and that there's a large area around that can accommodate the electric valve. I'm thinking somewhere right around here, and then we're gonna want to make sure that the valve can actually sit there. So something like that. My only concern with mounting it right here is that we do have the drive shaft, so we're gonna have a reasonable amount of space here between the drive shaft coupler there and the valve. That looks good right there. So we'll take a Sharpie and go around the outline of this. Also come in to the inside with it. Get some marks there, and that will be enough that we can line this up off of the car and complete the outline, and then we can cut this out for our cutout. Alright, so now that we actually have somewhat of a little outline for our cutout right here, we can pull this pipe out of the car, and we'll bring it over to the workbench. All right, so we're over at the workbench. I slapped this in the vise, and as you can see right here, you want to bring the camera in. We've completed the entire outline of this cutout pipe right here. All I did was I slapped this on top of the pipe. I went all the way around, and then you can actually reach the Sharpie in the end right here. A little bit of a tough angle to show you guys, but you can reach the Sharpie in here and get a little bit of an outline, and that will give you this spacing right here. You want to extend that roughly all the way around the perimeter. We should cut out a smaller piece first, because we can always remove material, can't always put it back. It's a lot easier to remove more. So we'll do this inner circle first, put the valve on top, do a little test fitting, and if we need to remove more material, we can. Alright, so with the perimeter cut here, you should be able to come in with a flathead and just pry this whole thing out. Don't go too crazy in the corners, hacking things up, because you'll just make more of a mess than it's worse. More a mess than it's worth. We can just come back with a carbide burr to round out all these rough corners. But this is our main piece we're cutting out. Wow, look at all that. It's gonna go all over my fingers. But yeah, we'll grab a carbide burr, round out these corners, clean it up, make it look nice, and get to welding. Sorry about the compressor, but this is one of my favorite tools right here. This is a carbide burr tip on our right angle grinder right here. This is like a $15, $20 Harbor Freight right angle grinder, and then you can get a set of these carbide burrs for about 30, 40 bucks on Amazon. They do a terrific job of removing material on exhaust jobs like this. So we just made our cuts and cleaned things up a bit with the carbide burr. I also ground away a bit of the dirt and rust right here in preparation for welding. And test fit right now. How's the look? It's looking good. Oh yeah. If you take a little peek inside there, but you can kind of see where we're at. The hole's lining up perfectly all the way around. So that's why I do that inner perimeter. If we were to cut the outer line that we traced, we'd remove way too much material. So definitely go maybe 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch inside the outside perimeter. Make that cut and grind away more material if you need to. We're looking good, so I'm gonna line this up with our original outline, probably masking tape it in place, and we'll tack it with the welder.
Nice outfit, buddy.
Happy birthday, bro.
Thanks.
Quick work of that. Gotta clean things up. We are using flux core, so it's not exactly pretty yet, but we'll get there. Alright, so we just welded this up and ground things down, made it look a little bit more pretty. I'm by no means an expert welder yet, I'm still learning. Grinder down, got it cleaned up a bit. We're gonna apply some VHT flame-proof header paint, very high temp. Probably give it like 30 minutes to dry, maybe an hour. While we're waiting for this to dry, we'll just install the wiring on the car. Alright, so we grabbed our valve components here after bolting up the section with our DIY cutout. Here's the basic setup. You get this cap with 3 bolts in it and nuts. We're not going to be using this cap, we will be using the hardware. This is the piece we're going to be using on the exhaust here. You'll see there's a rounded side and there's a flat side. We'll probably want the entirely flat face on this side. And if you look at it, there's actually two taller sides right here and a shorter side right here. If you look at it from this angle, it's a little easier to see. This side, you'll want to butt up against this pipe because it's gonna give you the most room to adjust this. And this piece just goes on just like so. And that allows us to bolt up our valve to the pipe. Now this does need to be welded. Typically, I would reinstall my exhaust section, put this on, orient it correctly with the valve, mark it, and remove the entire assembly for welding. Luckily though, on the A4 here, we have this nice big pocket and it looks like I'll get a good angle on the entire ring. So we're just gonna weld it right here in the vehicle. Gonna scrape off just a little bit of the paint here so we can get a good weld and bolt up our valve. Alright, so originally we received a 3-inch valve. We swapped it out really easily with QTP for a 2.5. Fits on here perfectly. And we're ready to bolt her up. Looks like this flange we welded on is holding up really well. Didn't have any major problems with our turn down. Redirecting our exhaust here. Looks like we didn't melt any underbelly panels, but oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah.
So kind of do things backwards here. We start with the turn down, put all the bolts through it, grab our valve, put all the bolts through that, and then grab our little gasket, make sure we have a nice tight seal, put that on the bottom. So a little 3-layer sandwich. We got the turn down, the valve, and our gasket, and we'll finish it off by putting this whole assembly onto the flange. The DIY cutout here, make sure that sits on there. Grab our nuts, put them on the back. And something QuickTime Performance did here is they used serrated flange nuts. So this little serration here makes tightening this a lot easier. You really don't even need to hold the backside with a box wrench. You can just tighten the bolts and makes things a lot easier when you're working in tight spaces like this. Now, before we tighten down these bolts, we want to position our turn down in the best orientation. It's gonna route it away from anything it's gonna melt. So obviously we're not gonna melt this muffler. Yeah, we might get a little sooty, but that's fine. We'll direct it away from this plastic belly pan and tighten down our bolts to lock it in place. Valve is on there, nice and secure. We're gonna run our wire probably right through here, all the way to the back of the car, and we'll run it into the trunk where we can plug in our control box. So popping out our trunk mat, so to speak, and pull out the spare tire. We thought this was gonna be a perfect grommet hole to go through, but unfortunately the other side is secured with a plastic ring and we couldn't really open it up enough to get the wire through. So instead we popped off this little grommet, which is actually right here. And that should be a nice little access point. We can run the wire right through there, straight forward, under all this paneling and whatnot, to keep it protected from heat and the elements, of course. Alright, so we just buttoned things up in the trunk here. You can hardly even see that we have a wire running through. Looks really clean. We'll toss this trunk mat back in and we'll hop under the car. Jack will give us a little demo with the wireless remote. So here she is in the closed position, and right at the press of a button here, you can open her up. Oh yeah. Let's put her on the ground and see what she sounds like, eh? Oh yeah, also taking a quick look at my wiring here. I ran it through this heat shield, under this black belly pan, under that belly pan, and I would highly recommend picking up a cable snake or a fish tape for that. I'll have links down below. Super helpful for pulling wires through. Alright, so we're gonna start her up first time here with the valve installed, valve open. Oh yeah. Alright, if you want to put it in park, I'm going to close the valve here. Oh, that's crazy. It's silent. It's literally silent. Dude. Alright, give me some stock revs. Alright, we're going to open up the valve now and do the same exact thing. In 3, 2, 1. Woo! Hell yeah! Yeah, that's pretty loud. And just for one more comparison, we're going to close the valve here and do a couple more parked revs. Alright, perfect. I think we got an operational valve here. Thing sounds awesome. So stealthy with the valve closed. Oh my god. And then so loud with it open. Completely different car. Right at the press of a button. Alright guys, this is going to wrap up this video on Jack's custom QuickTime Performance 2.5 inch DIY exhaust cutout installation. But we're going to be doing a lot more of these custom valve installations, so if you're interested, definitely leave a comment down below. These valves can be installed on virtually any vehicle. We did a dual cutout installation on a Q5. I am running one on my 335. I'd love to put one on our Jeep Wrangler just to see what it sounds like. And yeah, we're gonna do a lot more exhaust videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please go leave a like down below. Comment what other vehicles you'd like to see QuickTime Performance valves installed on. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on JD Cars.